When one is forced to find new ways to meet familiar challenges, the results can be unexpected and beautiful. That's what it says on Interpol Instagram. And it's a great statement to talk about the other side of make-believe.
Yes. That's kind of how it started, was by fact that we couldn't get together in a little room somewhere in New York City that we have done for every record.
Yeah.
You know, and this time, you know, I was at home in North Georgia, and Daniel was in Barcelona, and Paul was in, part of the time he was in Scotland, and then he had moved to Berlin. And so the notion of us like writing music over the internet was kind of weird, because we depend on the energy of being in the room together. But, you know, an opportunity arose, and that's kind of being able to articulate things a little differently than we would have in the past. You had more time by yourself, you know, it wasn't everybody being impatient, or, you know, and then you didn't have the loud volume all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So that kind of gave way to, you know, maybe trying different things out, you know, and, you know, that process went on for quite a long time before the record was made. And we did manage to get together a couple times in little Airbnbs in upstate New York, away from everybody. And it was great because we realized that it was still Interpol. You know, it still had the same energy, and with just a different sort of approach to it. And that did give yield to like a new way of doing things, thus presenting like a different side of the band. You know, after 20 years too, it's kind of important to feel that you're not alienating your audience, but you're expanding, you know, what the definition of Interpol.
Yes. Which one was the first song, I mean, of the demos that you started working with, and you said, this is something, we are going in the right direction, and we should start working full-time on the next album?
Yeah, it was just kind of, we were just going to do it anyway.
Okay.
So it had to happen. We, you know, would have to deliver the record at a certain time. You know, and this is, you know, this is at the beginning of the pandemic, so we had time, but not an infinite amount of time. So it was kind of like, thankfully it worked out, because I don't know what we would have been able to come up with. You know, no traveling, no nothing, you know. So that, I think there's a proud point there where it says like, forget what's happening, let's just go to work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And the fact that it worked.
But yeah, but I mean, not having an immediate feedback, how did you work with self-confidence and also the guys like, yeah, this is okay? Well,
you know, I knew straight away, like from my perspective, drums being kind of uncontrollably loud, you know, and, you know, sometimes getting in the way of other people trying to work, I knew that wasn't going to happen. So then I get to work with a different level of stress. It's not the same. It's brought on by me because I want it to be good, you know, but nobody else is in the room. I'm by myself and had all day to do things. And I think that you have to rely on your confidence, because that's how you're going to get it done. And you kind of forget about the insecurities. And so I think that's kind of what helped in terms of my, you know, contribution to what was going on. And it, you know, it wouldn't be instant, but it would be there. You know, the next day you open up the email and say, oh, okay, they like it. You know, and then that kind of had the same impact for everybody, because that bass line was great, and you know, I like the way the song is developing, and that became the method. So it's kind of just built into it.
This going, you know, back and forward, which was the song that took the longest, like in the demos, that was like, oh my god?
I think the song that actually might have taken the longest wasn't demoed. It was something that when we did get together in person, towards the end of the whole demoing phase, was a couple things that we tried for the first time together. And so oddly, it was going back to that old paradigm that gave, you know, kind of revealed that, oh, this is going to take some work. I think a lot of stuff was pretty instant, though. I think maybe Greenwich and Fables was like, okay, it was off to a good start, but I think they really kind of came into their own in the studio. But then there's like Into the Night.
Yeah, that's right.
That was pretty instant.
That was the longest track in the record, right?
It's the longest track,
5 minutes.
and it's the least Interpol kind of song.
Yeah, it's so good. Now that you mentioned also Fables, about stability, what is the key element in Interpol for you to keep going after so many years and to keep making music? And
I don't know. I don't know what that is. It's not a thing that I have to go and do. It's like, is it time to do it yet? And as tired as I could be or weary about the world and traveling, it doesn't matter. It's like, it's time to go. So I think when it's like I don't want to go, that'll be it. But I don't see that happening like anytime soon.
That's hopeful for fans, for you, and I feel a lot of melancholy, but also like future and hope and love in the record.
Yeah, that is really, because that's where you were, at moments in time, like I thought like the person down the street from me is in the same position, and probably harder, working 9 to 5, and there was although it was still like I can't just go see my family, and I would like to be with some other friends, like I can't travel, but I was still comfortable, and kind of realizing that, man, the world is really on equal footing for just, maybe it was for a moment, and that kind of makes you realize how special this is.
Yes.
And the fact that it's still going to happen, where people are dying, it's like, it really makes it humbling. And you start to re-examine everything that has been a privilege over time. And like, it's almost like if this could, there's almost a sense of responsibility. Like if fans are waiting, like everybody's been through a horrible time. So now we really have to deliver. If there's something that we could do now this is it. And there is a lot of those emotions because of that. Everybody kind of feeling parallel to what's going on around the world, and like, who wouldn't want some stability to come out of this?
Yes.
And you got to keep hope going, and you can still be sad about it. Like, it doesn't, tie everything up nicely. Kind of the opposite. But if like we're in this position where a lot of people around the world are not giving up, then it's your responsibility to keep going.
It's when you are now back in stage and you're so great to be back again, which is the song that gives you like the chills of the emotion of, yeah, I'm back again? Interpol's back.
A lot of them do. And I think it depends on how the crowd reacts. Because I'm not there to have that experience, I'm there to give it. But you can't help it when it comes back to you and you realize like what's happening in the moment. I think the newer material, because it's so relevant to here and now, but when playing Tony, for example, people have gotten to know it a little bit, and Paul's his lyric, I like to see them win, it's my kind of inspiration. It's beautiful, so that does kind of give me the chills, when people are reaching for him and singing that lyric with him, and it's all beautiful.
That's amazing. In the drum, specifically in the drums, when I heard the album, it's gonna be out soon. Mr. Credit in the drums is, whoa!
Oh wow, thank you. Yeah, that's Paul's favorite too.
Whoa! Well, now we're here flipping the tone of this interview, because now we're gonna talk about the songs.
Okay.
Like if it was pasta.
Oh, okay.
Preparing the songs like...
Speaking my language now.
Yeah, flavor, the cooking times, which took the longest, the shortest, like the texture, the complexity, full of ingredients. Which one broke the traditional recipe? Can you maybe name 3 songs of the album and describe them as pasta?
Okay, Cable. Is it Cable? I forget if that's a working title. Yes. That was to me, that was like, we're not going to do traditional pasta pomodoro. You know, this is going to be something else, because it could go that way just by the what's inherent in the guitar line. It could just be rock and roll. And I was like, this would be fun to just go against that grain to see what happens. And it was kind of instant too, that the drum pattern kind of came up that really has a different connotation than, you know, simple rock drumming.
Yes.
You know, so that definitely took it away from just being, you know, regular tomato basil. You know, that was definitely more of a cream sauce.
Yeah.
You know?
In terms of production, which one was al dente? You know, perfect.
Into the Night.
It's great.
Into the Night just really, it seemed like it was going to be a struggle sonically. I think we were playing it well, but there was this kind of concern, like, how does it sound? How does it sound? And then finally, when it was mixed, it was just like, oh, it's perfect. That's how I heard it, almost, you know. And it's funny because hearing it from the other side, like Alan Mulder, who mixed the record, and Flood, who produced it, weren't so sure. They liked the song, but they weren't so sure that they were delivering on their end. And then finally hearing it, it was like, you know, you did.
Yeah,
Very much so.
Well,
and I think it was important because it's a different kind of Interpol song. You know, it has more in common with, you know, heavier rock music in terms of the arrangement and like how steady it stays, you know. And yeah, that was fun.
And to you, your pasta pomodoro, which is your favorite, which song would it be?
Well, it changes all the time, but Fables.
Fables.
Yeah, I think that just because of the way it feels, it's kind of different for the band. You know, just the tempo and the rhythm of it, the time signature, and the lyric again. Like, it's just so beautiful, you know, and so simple. Just, you know, just looking for stability, you know, and trying to find it, and it being attainable if you just keep doing it. So, yeah.
Do you have a special message to your Mexican fans?
Oh wow, it's an honor, and I think everybody really sincerely feels graced to have such a beautiful audience, and it's been with us for the whole time, and it gets bigger, you know.
Yeah.
You know, everybody really loves it here. We've been coming here for years, and to really see not how Americans perceive Mexico, but to see what it really is, you know, and it totally is in line with the way Interpol thinks and works. You know, you can kind of see it on the street, and you know, when you talk to people, the level of humility, you know, and just being really like no pretension. Nobody's pretending anything. It's all honest and real, you know. Well, so that's a beautiful thing.
We are so honored that you're saying these beautiful words about Mexican
It's
audience.
a love affair, yeah, for sure.
So, just to end this interview, Sam, I know that you have a lot of work to do, but if you could pick any artist from any genre to make a cover of one of the Other Side of Make Believe songs, who would you choose?
You know, I think I would like to hear Laura Mvula sing any one of these songs, but to sing like something like Fables or something like that, I think because she has a really good means of expression, you know, and I don't think she's had it so easy the whole time, and she's just beautiful in every way possible, you know, and just has like, there's something so pure about her, you know, and I don't know, she does pop music, but in her own really unique way, and I think just the tone, the sound of her voice, and I think she'd be able to identify on an emotional level. So, Laura,
if you're watching
come on now.
Come on, we're waiting for you. Well, The Other Side of Make Believe is going to be out soon. It's a great work. Thank you, Sam, for your time for this beautiful talk.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Sam, para Alfa 91.3.
Entrevistas Alfa.